Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs. And the ball in behind Damian Vardy! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Vardy!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
We're here in studio.
Yep, we're here. We're live.
We got some time killing pods that we're gonna have to do. We know this isn't what everyone listens to the pod for.
Yes.
But we got some stuff for you. We got a little mix of some transfer rumors. We got a little mix of some early season preview. We got a whole lot to touch on. I think we're gonna go. Yeah. We're gonna start a little transfer action. Just kind of go through the primary ones, the big boys. We're gonna be taking care of them. Obviously Holland to City for about €60 million. Darwin Nunez, Liverpool, €75 million. Third biggest one, Diego Carlos, center back / fullback to Villa, €31 million. How about that from Sevilla?
I think that shows there hasn't been too much action so far in the transfer window.
No, and normally, I guess you'd think teams would want to get business done, a little early, but it's not a year where there's going to be an international tournament, so it might be kind of more spread out, whereas when you have an international tournament, teams are willing to either they go very early before the summer window even opens, you get your guys signed, or you wait till the last possible moment.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys are on holiday.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be signing for a little bit before, until they get back. Then they get back and we can get some more juicy transfers.
Yes. Yes, we can. I guess there's technically more that have, with add-ons and stuff that are a little more than Diego Carlos, but as far as straight-up fee. Basuma to Tottenham. Your guy, Mr. Vieira's long-lost son.
Yes, his Portuguese son, who he left in Portugal.
Brendan Aronson. West Ham with a nice kind of center back, full back signing too, very much like Diego Carlos to Villa.
And what's that guy's name?
You tell me.
Nayef Aguerd.
Aguerd. The Moroccan man himself.
Yeah.
Kamara to Villa, obviously touched on that. The Coutinho move official. Matty Target official. Nick Pope becoming official.
Yeah. That was a nice
I think as of today,
get.
Now it's not signed or anything, but it sounds like Gabby Jesus to Arsenal for £45 million.
Yeah, sounds like it's pretty much a done deal. That'd be pretty spicy for us Arsenal fans, us Arsenal faithful, who have been waiting for a striker.
We talked about how Leeds had Aronson, but we also had Leeds get Christensen and Mark Roca, a couple defenders in there as well. I think Southampton had a couple signings. They had I believe a center back and a goalkeeper. So it's busy all over the table.
It's busy, but nothing too spicy.
No, there's no out of the blue transfer yet that we're really waiting for, which is Richarlison to Tottenham.
Yes. I feel like Basuma to Tottenham, that was kind of out of the blue.
A bit out of nowhere. You figured he'd move, just not necessarily Tottenham.
And there wasn't much, fanfare involved.
Yeah. Well, what do you expect?
Yeah, true.
Out of these, which one stands out to you?
Well, obviously Holland.
Yeah.
And Nunez. But no one cares about those.
Yeah, I've heard all the takes in the world on those.
I mean, it seems like, maybe there's some smaller transfers, some guys that might be able to do a job that kind of were under the radar. Maybe a couple of these guys that came from Salzburg to Leeds.
Yeah.
Aronson, he's a little more high profile, but like this Christensen, and also getting Mark Roca from Bayern, that could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, these are definitely spots where Leeds need to build in terms of depth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I
for
think,
sure.
I mean, might as well get into our first talking point. I sent you a text of what mid-table club has the most on the line this window.
Yeah.
Did you come up with one? I have like 5. I like kind of power ranked. What who's where?
Now let me ask you this.
But I want you to reveal yours at least first.
Okay, first off, what is this Palace uniform?
You don't like the Macron? It's like crayon.
The crayon. Not a fan. Not a fan. Let me pull up a table here. What are we considering mid-table?
Let's just do anyone who could stay up. Anyone who stayed up from last year. Anyone who's outside the top 6. Let's do that.
Well, I think the
we'll
first...
expand mid-table to very broad. We'll expand a very broad scale.
What's that other subreddit? Like the other
14? Yeah. We'll do that. Who has the most on the line of the non-top 6 clubs?
I would say Southampton, but it seems like they don't really care that much in terms of their progression as a club. But if you look strictly as like a team that needs some reinforcements,
yeah,
that would be Southampton.
They were definitely in there.
But on the other hand of the spectrum, you have Manchester United, which, again, rebuild for the 9 millionth time and see who they bring in, what guys Eric Ten Hag wants to get in there.
I just feel like Man U fans turned off the podcast because you considered them mid-table and just threw them right in with the other 14. You moved West Ham into the top 6 and removed United from
That's
the top
true.
6. You're like,
That's
that
true.
team,
we
they
established
fell out.
the rules and then we broke the rules.
They fell out. But no, yeah, I mean, that's a great point on United. I mean, you can only get it wrong so many times. Not even before things eventually they're bound to change if you get the right leadership. But I mean, given the window you had last summer, you absolutely, first off, it's going to be better no matter what. It couldn't be any worse, right? Mm-hmm. Surely.
Yeah. So getting back to the mid-table teams, I would say Everton for sure.
Yes.
They
were number 2 for me.
They had the season last year where they were trying to penny pinch because they've had some really poor financial decisions that have been costing them.
Yes.
In previous years. So that'll be important. Are they going to, if they try to go for the same method, you fool me once, shame on you. There's an old saying in Tennessee.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm becoming Sunderland and I'm going to League One. In the
fool
blink
me
of an
twice.
eye.
Well, you can't fool Everton twice, or maybe you can. I think Leicester, maybe. They had a bit of a down season.
That's interesting.
And it seemed like maybe they were going to try and establish themselves as like try and break into that big 6. They were in contention for Champions League a couple seasons in the European spots. But they slipped last season. And if they slip again, then it's going to be harder and harder to maintain that spot in the Champions League.
Gonna
or
hear
in
the
top
teams.
6.
Gonna hear the teams I have.
Yeah, let's hear.
Top 5. 5th, I have Brighton. It depends what you think of Brighton. If you think they're just a middling club and they're just gonna kind of stay afloat and they're just gonna be virtually Stoke in terms of just quality of, they're just gonna be around like 9 to 12 or 13. If you think that they could be more, this would be the summer to do that. You had the right pieces and you kind of build off last year.
Yeah.
4, I had Palace. Building off last summer. You had a lot of potential there. You capitalized on it for the most part. Now you have to keep building on that. You have that young core. You're going to be losing a couple pieces.
Yeah.
Mainly Gallagher.
Mainly Gallagher. That's going to be the key piece. How do they replace Gallagher?
3, Southampton. There's a lot of potential there for them to kind of still uplift, rebuild the squad. They definitely need some rejuvenation in their squad. You can't be enough Nathan Redmond,
Yes.
enough Oriol Romeo, enough Fraser Forster.
Yes.
Just go for the youth like Palace. Swing for the fences. Okay. Second, Everton. After last year, they have to do something in terms of turning the ship around before you become Sunderland. Offload as many of like the expensive, air quotes, guys you have. And I mean, if you're going to spend relatively big money, anything over like 25 mil, it has to be a guy who's going to instantly be an impact. They're apparently linked with Zinchenko. I think that would be a good signing for them.
That would be a great signing. Honestly, I'm surprised that more clubs aren't in for him. Seems like every club needs like a left back.
Yeah.
They're in short supply.
Yeah. Or just any kind of talent where it's like versatile,
Yeah.
out wide. Anyone could use that. But first I have Leeds. There's just so much potential in terms of you can sell Rafinha for a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips rumored to go for 50, 60 mil to Man City. You
Well, it
can
looks
work
like 45 mil.
the 45 mil. Oh, for pounds. Yeah, because I double checked and it was dollars. I hate that.
Yeah.
I'll forever hate that.
Stop reporting stuff in dollars.
No one cares.
It's either euros or pounds.
Yeah.
No dollars.
No one cares about dollars. But yeah, still a good chunk of money. You could get around 100 mil for 2 guys. Not to mention you still have some money. Leeds probably aren't going to spend as much as they had in years past, but they still, they're willing to spend a bit. So you have a good chunk of money to toy around with, build some depth, add some youth. They're the closest thing I think to what Palace was last year in terms of like a just quick rebuild in terms of your squad. Don't you feel like?
Well,
That's assuming Rafinha and Phillips do go, which more than likely they will.
I feel like they need.
Not to mention you're losing Bielsa. You already got your new manager in there in Marsh.
I feel like they need a pretty big rebuild. Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of weak spots.
Well, guess who had a pretty big rebuild last year? Crystal Palace.
I thought you said a quick rebuild.
Well, it's still, Palace's was
Yeah.
relatively quick.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
Leeds will be
okay,
shooting
okay.
for relatively
Yes,
quick.
they need a big rebuild. Yes, they've got a lot of gaps in their team.
Yeah.
Midfield, defense,
Attack,
attack could
you could
use some.
it's not
improvements,
too
but-
bad.
But bringing in Brendan Aronson, that's already
Yes.
a piece there. And
You
then
still
bringing
have-
in Christensen.
You still have Gellhart.
Yeah.
You still have Pat Bamford as long as he's healthy.
Dan James.
No, I'm worried. I'm worried about Dan James.
What? I have full faith in Dan James.
Okay.
I'm a big Dan James guy. I mean, come on, Wales.
Well, we'll see.
A small
He-
girl from Wales.
Yeah, Dan James played like a small girl last year. He did not play very well, and that's not good. I like Dan James. I thought
I
he'd be
believe
better,
in
but
Dan James.
all right.
That team was terrible, and they just
Yeah,
were like, throw Dan James up top.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
We got Rodrigo in the team. That guy's garbage.
He had more goals than Dan James.
Well, he also played longer. So
I don't know if that's true. they both played because they had no one else to play. But no, Leeds, massive job ahead of them this summer. So, I'm sorry, did you name who your most impressive recent transfer was? You said Aronson?
Oh, most impressive.
Yeah, that you like.
Yeah,
you like the most.
Let's see. I think honestly, it's got to be probably Bissouma. If you
Okay.
take out the top two, that's kind of like
Yeah, no, that doesn't count.
that doesn't count. Bissouma for the price, I think that's a real
Yeah,
steal of a
it's-
deal. But the concern is potential legal issues. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we
but-
almost forgot about that last year with Brighton. He had to miss some games, and
Yeah.
we didn't know about his future. So, I'm interested in this Babukar Kamara. Supposed to be a pretty solid player. Villa got him on a free
Yeah,
from Marseille. So we'll see about that.
yeah, and they were looking for more of a holding midfielder
Yeah.
last season. They didn't quite have one.
No, Douglas Luiz had moments where he was fine, but then at other moments it was like, So
Yeah,
and
and
there
he's
talks
not-
to sell him.
He's
too.
not really a holding midfielder.
Crazy to think Douglas Luiz was at one point on Man City. He never played for them, but
Yeah, very strange. He also had long hair.
yeah, goofy. Is there a shock move that might happen that you want to see happen?
That's a good question. I feel like I was thinking about this. I feel like potentially at the end of the window, someone might panic buy Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, okay. Just in case like their striker goes down or something, and
Everyone needs a striker,
yeah.
someone to put the ball in the back of the net.
And when you say someone needs a striker and they panic buy, you're saying Southampton, £60 million. It's James Ward-Prowse for Calvert-Lewin swap. It's just a trade.
I'm not going to spoil it, but there's one club I was doing a little research on
Yeah.
that I think may be in dire need of a striker.
I
but
think I know who it is.
I'm not going to say anything until we get to that point.
I think we
And
know
they
who
would
it is.
never buy Calvert-Lewin, but
I think we know who it is.
Wow.
And I might be wearing their shirt.
no.
No?
No, but I could see that being a fit as well. If Chelsea don't go out and get someone,
See, that's why I thought you said they'd never
Earlier.
buy him. That's what you're previewing. I was like, yeah, Chelsea would never buy him, but I guess I could see it.
I don't
If I
know. At
squinted
this
my
point,
eyes.
if we look at the history of Chelsea strikers, it's
You might
just
as
like
well.
the most random thing ever.
You might as well have just kept Tammy Abraham at this point, but then now watch Tammy Abraham suck, and then you'll be like, oh, good thing we sold him.
You got random guys like Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Lukaku.
They're not
who
even
flopped.
strikers now. Yeah, I think Lukaku, he took a massive offense that he didn't win a hanky for biggest flop and said, watch this. And he left.
He left.
So there might have to be like a redacted hanky that goes to him, but he might not even be deserving of it. It's such a shame
It's like a
to the PL.
posthumous or whatever.
Posthumous?
Posthumous award.
Yeah.
Except he's not dead. He just left the league.
He might as well be at this point. Go play for Inter.
But like the other Chelsea strikers, like Costa, Abraham, Loic Remy
Yeah.
was on Chelsea.
Legendary.
Pato,
It's like there's no quality like that has to be there. They could be good, they
True.
could be bad. It's just like guys, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, what is this? Yeah, remember at Higuain?
Oh my, that guy.
Chelsea
was
has so many good.
trash.
Alvaro Morata.
Morata, yeah, he's also trash.
Oh,
It's
because
a cursed role.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They say the curse 9 for Chelsea, but if you're Diego Costa and you pick 19, you do pretty damn well.
True.
And if you're Giroud and you don't pick 9, you do relatively all right.
Yeah,
I think
for
it is just
what you
9.
are, Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just 9.
Or if maybe you're just kind of garbage and you're waiting
Yeah.
for you to be exposed.
Chelsea's just
and
like,
Chelsea
come
will
on
expose
in.
you.
Yeah, it's honestly amazing that Chelsea has like any success with like how bad they are at like transfers. They're so bad. They're like
every year.
They're pretty much like United tier at transfers, but they somehow like win.
Mhm.
I don't get it.
They make up for it with like the rest of the squad, just patching it together somehow.
It's any big Chelsea transfers bound to do terrible, but if they just spend like 15 mil on a guy who's supposed to be like a depth piece, he just like emerges out of nowhere and
Yeah.
plays really well.
Yeah.
All right.
What's next?
Should we just go to the tiers? Because I mean,
let's.
I was thinking of shock moves. I couldn't really think of
Yeah,
a
you
big
didn't give
one.
me a
The
shock
Ronaldo one.
Ronaldo
We talked about that to buy
to Bayern. What?
That's the dumbest thing I heard in my life.
But apparently, his agents offered him the move.
Unless the only thing I could see would be like if Newcastle just went out and got someone that
Yeah.
we didn't expect they could get.
Calvert-Lewin. Someone's
I
got to
think
buy
it'd be-
Calvert-Lewin.
Okay, I'll hold you to it. If you had to pick a team right now, let's just do that. Who would it be?
I feel like
Who's the team that you're hinting at, and then who's the team do you think? Because if I had to pick a team that would buy him, I feel like it'd be something really strange. It'd be like Villa or something. And Villa's like, here's a Danny Ings and like 20 mil swap for.
He does seem like a Villa striker. I think West Ham would be good.
Okay.
I think Newcastle would be good as well.
All right.
And the team I was alluding to that
Wait,
would
let me
never
guess,
buy
though.
him. Yeah.
Let me guess. I don't know. You got me on pins and needles. Leicester out of nowhere as the Vardy replacement? I don't know.
Forest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if they would.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
He'd be too expensive. And he probably wouldn't want to go to Forest. But
I want to.
I'll explain later on when we get.
It's because of the
into
Greek
the-
connection. People don't know Calvert-Lewin's Greek, just like the Nottingham Forest owner.
Yeah.
Let's get to the tiers.
Yeah. Tears.
We'll start middle, and then go down, and then we'll go back to like the middle / above and work our way up. Okay, so let's start at C tier.
All right. C tier. First team.
I tried to put them in an order that was more like
I did
C.
not order these.
Okay, because I was thinking like C plus fading to C minus,
Oh, I see. What
but that's
you're doing.
okay. We'll do the C tier teams. We can always move them around and stuff. First off, Brentford.
Brentford.
You look at last year, fairly efficient.
Mm-hmm.
You had at one point top 5 goal scorer Ivan Toney.
Yes. Pen merchant Ivan Toney. But yes.
And semi tap-in merchant Ivan Toney.
Also true.
Embuemo, big part of their attack. Their attack last year, if they had Eriksson, would definitely be in the B range. Probably not going to keep him.
Yeah.
But out of respect, we have to put them at C because even without Eriksson, they had moments where they looked all right. But they also had moments where they looked absolutely putrid.
Yeah, I think honestly they're tipping more towards D tier.
That's kind of why I had the alignment.
Yeah.
So I'd say they're like C minus,
Yeah.
more than D plus though. I still think they're C tier, but C minus is kind of.
Yeah, there were some moments though.
They're on that
really
7.
bad.
They're on that like 70.1%, right on the brink.
But then they also had some games where they played amazing, like that game against Chelsea.
Yeah,
Freaking
Liverpool.
JanElt was just going off and
Yeah,
taking names.
they're just too good. They're too good. How about that game against Norwich? Am I right? That announcer acted like that was a good game. So you would say C or D tier if you had to pick one?
I would probably lean more towards D.
Okay.
I'm just like emotionally scarred from watching them during that barren spell of terrible football.
It was really rough.
Yeah.
Nothing was falling for them.
And Eriksson leaving is massive.
Oh, absolutely, because they don't really have someone to connect midfield to
Yeah.
attack quite as well. And Buemo can at times, but he's
Yeah.
just more in attack than midfield and attack. So we'll see. Brentford's got to bring in someone.
Mm-hmm.
Who that is, I don't know for
Don't
sure.
know.
It's not going to be someone off a relegated team because none of those teams had a good 10. Let's go Leeds next.
Leeds.
We think about their attack. Pat Bamford had one good year. Last year was and then he was hurt, so we don't really know. Jury's
Yeah.
out a bit.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that keeps them up towards the C tier is that they have the potential of Pat Bamford
Yes.
waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Hopefully next season can
Joe-
play a full season.
Our guy, Joe Gelhart,
Joey Gelhardt.
fantastic.
Yes, we love him.
Getting Brendan Aronson. That's the thing is when they come from a different league, it's hard to just be like, oh, he's going to do this because you don't know for sure how it's going to translate. But still a good young attacking player. We have a sense of what he might be
Yeah.
able to do.
Yeah, from what I've seen with the United States men's national team, he's got some really good energy, good quality. I think he'll fit in at Leeds quite nicely.
They still technically have Rafinha.
Still do. They could hold on to him, especially after selling Calvin Phillips. They might just say no more.
Yeah, they very well could. People like to think Rafinha a little highly, kind of towards the elite attack options in the league. We don't really think of him as that.
People are calling for £65 million for Rafinha.
What do you think Leeds is thinking right now? Because my eyes would be lighting up.
They're trying to play cool, like, nah, 65 million.
Yes,
50
they
million?
keep
No,
they
no.
keep upping it.
But then meanwhile, they sell Calvin Phillips, who I believe is a better player, for 43 million,
Yeah,
45.
I think part of that is Calvin Phillips probably wanted to move, and it's like
Yeah.
you don't want that going on any further than
Right.
it is right
He's
now.
got some goodwill built up after he signed that contract extension.
I think C's fine. C plus, I guess, if you had to pick one. If Rafinha leaves, then it's definitely just straight up C,
Yeah.
maybe C minus. But we'll see. We didn't even talk about your guy Dan James or Rodrigo. We don't need to.
Yeah,
don't need to
Rodrigo
get
is
into that.
trash. Dan James
He's-
is awesome.
Yeah, Dan James is real awesome getting red cards. He's good at that. Crystal Palace, C tier.
Crystal Palace. They got a lot of options.
I got options.
That's the nice thing. They don't have just one thing that they have to rely on. One guy scoring all the goals. They get goals from everywhere.
Yes.
Most notably, Wilf.
The Wilf.
Fantastic season last year.
Oh my gosh, so good. So good. And I mean, if you look at his efficiency numbers, sure, they're not great, but I mean, anytime you get a guy who gets 15 goals.
Yeah. And I mean, it's Palace. You know,
Yeah.
Efficiency isn't going to be the highest.
Yeah. No, but I like Mateta. I still like
Yes.
Edward. He showed flashes. Etze. They have a lot of nice like guys who are midfield options, but they're more attack minded.
Yeah.
That I really like. Etze is one of them. Now they're C plus, and they could push up a bit if the young guys take another step.
Yeah.
For sure.
Olise.
Yeah, Olise too.
Yeah, and
Another
I like that
fantastic
they have
young guy.
guys who can kind of play in multiple positions too.
Yeah, there's versatility there.
Yeah.
They provide, even just if you're looking at work rate and stuff when pressing,
Mm-hmm.
they're all over the pitch. So I like their bunch. Out of all the ones in C tier, give me Palaces all day for the attack.
Yeah.
Next, Aston Villa,
Aston Villa spent a lot of money.
formerly carried by Jack Grealish in attack. Now,
Gucci Grealish.
yeah, oh, he's having a great time in Vegas. Did you see that? He's spending like 6 figures on champagne and stuff.
He's always having a great time. The man parties very hard. he should get a hanky for biggest partier.
He really should. He's the ultimate Dino.
Yeah.
He is like miles ahead of Mason Mount now. Villa, Ollie Watkins, solid. Slightly disappointing to me. I wish he'd be. I think
Yeah.
he's one of those where like you see the flashes and you wish he'd be a bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
Danny Ings had moments, didn't provide as much consistency as you'd think, but I guess if there's one positive made up for it in terms of his ability to kind of spread the ball a little bit, had a decent amount of assists, but more than you'd think for what Danny Ings has been in his career, but
Yeah.
still a bit of a disappointment. Buendia, again, flashes. He creates a lot of chances, but then some games he's just not there.
Yeah.
Coutinho, he
He's
had
got
a run.
flashes.
He had a run where he looked damn good,
Yeah.
and then it went cold.
Yeah.
Fast.
Hopefully that picks up again, because
Mm-hmm.
if he just has that trademark Coutinho hot start, that'll be mighty disappointing for Villa.
We gotta talk about Leon Bailey, who was the ultimate, showed flashes like very early and then was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, the man could not stay healthy for like more than 3 games.
Yeah,
Felt like he barely played. Most of the time he seemed like he came on as a
his
sub.
sub. Yeah. So Villa, I think C. They might be the most like C tier attack possible because the quality is there, but yet you're still disappointed because you want more. But then it's like, why are you disappointed? Because maybe they're just not that good.
They have the pieces. They have the pieces to be like a B minus caliber attack, I think.
I agree, and we can't talk about it because it's this is just the attack tier, and it has nothing to do with defenders and stuff. But they have attack-minded defenders, guys who get forward. In midfield, like
That's
McGinn
true.
and Cash. So,
Yeah.
but no, I think C is fine. Brighton Hove Albion, the next team in the C tier.
A team that, as a team, shows flashes.
Yes,
Individually,
not so much.
Not so
Maybe
much.
just Trossard
yeah.
or an Mwepu banger. They have the one banger of the year,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's a team. They have potential. At times, they play some really nice attacking football. Great movement. And at times, it's absolutely stale and dire.
you just wish that maybe they'd spend a little more to help Graham Potter out. But anytime they spend anything over like 10 million,
Yeah.
pounds, it's got to be some random guy I've never heard of from South America.
Right. Some Venezuelan.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the one thing that really holds them back is Maupai.
Absolutely. 100%. And now they have Maupai, who needs to be replaced. And they're missing Bissouma.
Yeah. 2 big holes on the team.
And they lost Dan Byrne as well halfway through the season last year.
Brighton. You're losing a lot of guys.
Yeah, you got to buy some people. You can't
Uh,
just sell them all.
Yes. Last but not least in the C tier, we have Newcastle United.
Newcastle.
Callum Wilson. Really good. Really efficient. Hurt. A little too much for my liking.
A lot, yes.
They have the new dribble king that Adama Traore is out of the Premier League.
Saint Maximin.
He's there.
Under wing.
Our guy, Saint Maximin.
So we
as for-
Gucci. Yeah. You know the words better than I do.
That's because I listen to the song too much.
Yeah.
Every morning when I wake up, Vardy Party and Saint Maximin remix.
Everybody's having a party.
No, but then Chris Wood, virtually worthless.
Trash. Waste of 20 mil.
Yeah. I don't know. Almiron might be like one of the ultimate like shows flashes guys. We might just have to have a podcast where we're talking about guys who show flashes.
He's decent, but I also like his work rate
Yeah.
off the ball too. That's
No,
nice
for
to
sure.
have.
That's probably his best attribute, honestly. His speed and just running around. He's at least moving.
Yeah.
You don't forget he's out there.
Definitely some improvement that could be made for Newcastle.
Yeah, there. It's if you get that second striker a little better than Chris Wood.
Like Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, maybe.
Ivan Toney. Although
They
I don't
already
know
had
if,
Ivan Toney.
if he would want to go back. That's kind of the...
I like Calvert-Lewin as that spot.
Yeah.
And you can you can rotate it where you have 2 up top with Wilson and Calvert-Lewin playing off each other. If Cal Wilson's hurt, you have Calvert-Lewin in there. Calvert-Lewin's hurt, you have Wilson in there.
One of them is probably going to be hurt at all times.
Yes, and that's why you have both of them.
Yes.
I would like that move.
Get Pat Bamford for the trio.
Who's the worst out of the teams I put in the C tier? You're saying Brentford? No one else would move down,
Yeah.
and no one else would move up, right?
I would say Brentford.
Brentford down, but anyone up? Anyone else down?
Maybe Palace.
Palace up to B minus C plus.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can
Maybe
get there.
just. Maybe
I
they're teetering. on
Yeah,
the
they
edge.
really are. There's 79%
Yes.
on the test.
We might give them that feel good, like, you tried hard.
Yeah. Let's see it go to the teams that try hard and suck, and that's why they're in the D tier. We have Everton.
Do they try hard? They seem
Anthony
like they
Gordon
don't try.
tries hard.
Anthony Gordon does try hard. Richarlison acts like he tries hard, but really just sucks and thinks he's amazing.
Keep breaking it down.
Whoever
I do.
spends $50 million on Richarlison is an absolute fool.
Watch it be Chelsea and it works out for no reason.
Yeah, it could.
Just
Good.
because it's like, this guy sucks, and Chelsea suck at bringing in guys, and then Richarlison just like turns into something amazing for a year. And it's like, what?
That would really do it for me. to really solidify my hatred for Chelsea.
They turned Richarlison into a half-decent player. I don't think that's possible.
He's like the reincarnate of Diego Costa.
Is there anyone... I mean, you can't say that he's overrated because, like, I get people rate him, and he rates himself for sure. But anyone with a brain realizes, like, he's not good, right?
I hope so, but I feel like it's not necessarily true.
That's why I didn't put him. That's why I didn't put him up for a hanky. I didn't think anyone actually like thought he was that good. But
people see him score a pen, and then he like goes insane and acts like he's
he just loves the club.
the savior himself.
He just loves the club.
Thinks he's freaking Ronaldo out here.
When you're better at Watford than Everton, I have questions about you. So Everton, Calvert-Lewin on there still. Good year the year before. This last year hurt for a good chunk of the season. Kind of brought them down. They really need him.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
do well.
I mean, otherwise you got guys like Solomon Rondon playing.
Oh. Townsend, Damari Gray, some years, some parts of the years where they showed flashes.
They were supposed to be depth, not starters.
Yeah, well, they played all right last year, and I guarantee you they won't have that output next year.
Yeah.
Southampton. Your strongest attack asset right now is Che Adams, who's fine.
Mm-hmm. Also,
I don't know
didn't have a consistent season. Was out with injuries.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
When he played, he was fine.
Yeah.
I think he's a little better in terms of kind of playing, not necessarily off the ball, but his distribution and then making runs in behind was kind of caught me off guard how solid he was at that. But the rest of the attack was very, very streaky. Broja had a nice run. Armstrong early showed like he might be all right. He gets in good spots. Had that opening goal against Everton. Perfect shot.
And lost any faith by Hasenhüttl to play him anymore throughout the season. And then they completely relied on James Ward-Prowse to either score penalties or free kicks.
Yeah, well, you could have put someone else on pens. You could have put Bednarak.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, as far as their attack, they're almost guaranteed to have to bring someone in, right? I mean, unless they just roll with Armstrong as their only striker. They don't have Broja anymore. Back at Chelsea.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they just start rolling with Armstrong after Hasenhüttl didn't play him for 3/4 of the season.
He had to adapt, bro. Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest.
We got all three. We should just talk about. We got all three of the new teams in the D tier. Let's start with Forest. Brendan Johnson, 19 goals. Lewis Graben, probably the most championship tier striker that's ever existed. He's up there with Ross McCormick.
I couldn't believe this guy's still doing it. This guy should be in the conference or something.
No, he's out here in the championship bagging goals. Philip Zinkernagel and Mr. Garner, tops in assists. Garner obviously on loan.
Both of them.
Well, yeah, Zinkernagel. Now he signed for Olympiacos today, leaving Watford. The Watford rebuild begins. Good amount of goals. They're top 4 in goals. That's about all you can ask for.
Yeah, I'm just concerned. You
have a lot of guys who did it in the championship, but can they do it in the Premier League?
Yeah.
And I don't know. When we were looking at teams last year, it was like we either had faith or no faith. This one, I'm really struggling with Nottingham to know.
Well, you got Brendan Johnson, scored 19 goals and 9 assists, and he's 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So coming into the Premier League, relying on him seems a little idiotic. And then 25 of their assists came from players who aren't at the club anymore.
Yeah.
And
where's that playmaking going to come from?
And Brendan Johnson's not going to assist himself.
He might.
And if you rely on Lewis Graben, who is trash, you're going to have issues. I think Forest could be historically bad next year.
Okay. I don't know. We'll have to see in terms of what they bring in? Is there anyone that they could like loan from a team right now?
Well, the main one right now is Dean Henderson,
Well,
but that's not going to help him score
no.
goals.
I'm thinking about attack. Is there a guy that they could maybe loan?
I saw them rumored to Maitland-Niles. They could play him in midfield, but
He's a little more defensive. He's versatile. Don't get me wrong, but
he could play on
he's
the
more
wing
defensive.
potentially for a team like Forest, but
No, I'm thinking more like a striker. Is there anyone that could potentially? What if they got your guy Neil Maupay on loan? I don't know.
I know teams are trying to get that
I wanna
Liam
see-
Delap from City.
Yeah, I want to see someone get Danny Ings. I want to see one of these bad teams get Danny Ings.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Villa need him too much apparently to score 7 goals and have like 4 or 5 assists. I don't know. I'm a little more optimistic. I think Cooper's done a good job there and done a good job with Swansea, so I have a little more faith. But yeah, if the players aren't there, your system doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So I agree as far as that. Moving on to Bournemouth. Speaking of crap guys, we have Dominic Solanke, 29 goals.
29 goals.
And is that Cam Billing? The guy who used
Philip.
to be Philip Billing used to be on I think Huddersfield.
Might have been. I
almost
remember
positive.
him as being on Bournemouth the last time they were in the Premier League, but
Oh, maybe he wasn't on. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But anyways, second in goals last year. I like Scott Parker. We've seen him before, friend of the pod,
yes.
which is, that takes a lot for us to say as Sam's Arsenal supporter, I'm Chelsea supporter, as Tottenham man out here. But we like him. We liked what he did at Fulham.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, with the quality, I don't know.
Yeah, again, you're going to be relying on kind of an unknown quantity in Solanke in the Premier League, which is kind of scary. But hey, put in 29 goals, 7 assists. I feel like out of the 3 teams, they might have kind of the most rounded squad in terms of other guys being able to contribute
Yeah.
instead of just a reliance on one guy like the next team that we're going to talk about.
What are you talking about? Marco Silva's Fulham. I thought about considering putting them in the C tier as like a C- team. I think they're D+.
They did score
A lot of goals.
106 goals.
That's wild.
That's a lot of goals.
And they mainly came from Mr. Mitrovic.
Yes.
Is he coming
43 of
into
them.
his own? Anderlich's own Mr. Mitrovic?
Or is he the ultimate championship merchant?
He might be.
He might be.
And someone should snatch him that immediately wants to come up.
Yeah.
Wilson, former Liverpool man. Carvalho, now a current Liverpool man.
Yep.
We'll see. They have a good amount of little retooling they got to do in terms of attack. Last time Fulham were up, they were a sad team to watch.
Yeah,
Until,
they had a bunch of guys on loan that weren't very good.
Yeah, until they got a couple guys that kind of came into their own for a little while. Lookman had moments. Anderson we always liked. They had Areola on loan in net, and then who is Josh Maja up front up top?
Josh Maja, yes, only
Yeah.
halfway through the season. One of these teams should really be looking at Dennis.
Oh yeah. But I don't know if West Ham wants him. I think West Ham can get him.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
that's
they're
true.
rumored
if they do,
for
if they
him.
do. But
Everton's been rumored with them too, but yeah, if any one of these teams could snatch Emmanuel Dennis, that would be massive.
yeah,
Until he becomes the new Lake Remy.
maybe even a guy.
Goes down with QPR, gets loaned to Newcastle, pops off, and then QPR can sell him to a big club to be the third striker.
Maybe even a guy like Adam Ida.
I don't know.
Bring him in.
Would
add
Norwich sell?
Add a little depth.
Norwich doesn't have anything going on. They can play him.
Yeah, well,
Someone brings in
I
Teemu
don't
Pukki.
want Norwich. Okay, if someone brings in Pookie, that would be hilarious.
It would be, if you had to pick one of the three teams to bring in Pookie, who would it be?
Definitely be Forest.
That's what I was thinking too.
100%. Dude, their second highest scorer was Lewis Graben. Like I feel like I can't emphasize this enough. Lewis Graben. The guy was trashed like 10 years ago for Newcastle.
Yes.
And Sunderland.
He's back. Yeah, let's move on. Who was the? There's no last team in there. Would you move anyone up or down? You'd move Forest down, I assume. They're F tier.
Yeah, potentially Forest down. Potentially Fulham down or Fulham up. It's just hard to say. You know, what translates from the Championship to the Premier League.
If you had to pick one team that you liked out of this bunch of five, Everton, Southampton, Forest, Bournemouth, and Fulham, is it Fulham? Because for me, I think it is, and I don't feel great about saying that.
I would say Fulham, but I think watch out for Bournemouth.
Okay.
Watch out for Bournemouth. I think they have a sneaky, decent chance at maybe staying up.
I trust Scott Parker. I think they probably will stay up. There's a lot of bad Premier League teams last year.
Yeah.
You forget, like 7 teams probably deserve to go down.
And I feel the most confident in Bournemouth to be like the most kind of steady Eddie team.
Yes.
Whereas with Fulham, it seems kind of boom or bust.
See, this is one of those things where we agree, and it's either completely wrong or completely right.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Let's get to the one F tier team, and I
Yes.
don't think most people would put them in there. You say, "Oh, this Premier League team's worse than these unknown Championship teams." Yes,
Yes.
I am saying that. Yes, I saw Wolves with my eyes last year.
My eyes.
They stunk.
I'm lucky I still got my eyes.
They stunk. They were the only team in the neighborhood with Norwich for goals.
Yeah.
That's so bad. That's really bad.
And especially if you
Their top goal scored 5 goals last year, Mr. Raul Jimenez.
look at it like their attacking output versus, where they should be relatively.
Yeah.
They're like way too low in attacking output for
Yeah.
a team that finishes mid-table.
Yeah, to say the least.
So I think that makes them worse than Championship
And I
teams.
think what's worse is I think Laj's system, or the way he wants to play, I think it's fine. I think that it's just a lack of quality there. They don't really have a consistent 9.
Yeah.
They have guys who are okay playmakers. They don't have like one guy as a playmaker, but they have a couple guys that, they can do stuff in terms of dribbling and passing. I wouldn't say that's nearly as much a problem as finishing.
Yeah, they have 3 guys who do like the same exact thing in the game.
There's a lot of redundancy.
And then they're missing. They have like a surplus of these guys, and then there's like no one who can actually score.
Yeah. What if they had Calvert-Lewin?
Maybe if he was Carvalho-Lewin, then yes.
João Calvert.
João Carvalho.
Carvalho. Yep.
Sign him up.
I mean, I think people would probably say we're crazy. There's no way that they're the only F-tier team unless you wanted to throw one of the new promoted teams in there.
I think Everton could be F tier.
They could be, but they still have Calvert-Lewin, and I believe in him enough. And Anthony Gordon should get better next year to where I can't quite put him there.
Yeah.
Richarlison does nothing for me.
Everton is E tier. E for Everton.
Yeah, there should just be a tier for Everton. Let's go up. There's this B- / C+. I had them in B, just towards the back end.
Yeah, this was
B.
an executive decision by yours truly.
And I don't mind it because I agree. We're on the same page. It's just a matter of, the way you want to look at it. West Ham.
West Ham.
Could be more. Could be
more.
higher.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, Mikel Antonio went 14 games without scoring.
Yeah, they just don't have another guy who can step in.
He got gassed.
When Antonio is running out of steam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a big boy,
Yes.
Uses a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Need to give him some rest.
I don't even think they need to go like Dennis or like someone that good. I think that they could get away with like just a guy that they can pick up for like 10 mil. Like just to give a little bit. Yeah, just to give a little bit of time. Maybe he's a development guy or something, but you can play him in the Europa League at first or something, and give Antonio some spot starts. in the Premier League, but I
I
don't think you need that much because Antonio just needs like some break, but not a ton. Antonio can definitely be your number one striker. Just give him a rest.
I like the idea of Broja, but
Yeah.
not for 30 mil.
No, I know. Maybe they get him on loan.
But I feel like his play style could suit West Ham.
Oh, I feel like it'd be very nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you get a little different.
Is there any way Brozier goes to like Forest or Bournemouth or Fulham?
Only if it's on loan. I can't imagine those teams paying that
No.
much.
No. As far as other West Ham attacking options, obviously Bowen. Explosive year. Putting his name on the map.
Yep.
Lanzini, very nice option in attack as well. Ben Rama, another guy who shows flashes. Can't really put it all together quite yet.
Yeah.
But they're getting better. They're going to get Sam's guy, Jesse Lingard, at some point, I'm sure.
If I was a team, I would not want that guy. He's toxic. He's spent too much time around Paul Pogba. He's like an even more crap Paul Pogba.
He really needed to make his move to West Ham to recapture vibes. But instead he went back to United and did nothing.
The moment he went back to United to fight for his place in a team that he hadn't been in for like 3 years, that was... after the vibes were just immaculate.
Yeah. No, he betrayed the vibes.
Yeah.
Moving on to the other B-/C plus team. Leicester City. Career year out of James Maddison. Jamie Vardy hurt a good chunk of the year, but when he played, amazing. What can you say about him?
It's like a fine wine.
Yes. Disappointment out of guys like Lookman and Daka in the brief stretches that they played when Vardy was hurt. Obviously worse guys than them, but you expect a little more out of Lookman and Daka.
I would say, for me, it would be Harvey Barnes instead of Lookman, personally.
Well, we'll get to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes is going to be a starter in this team next year.
And then not to mention Iheanacho, just off the grid.
Yeah, what happened? He's the ultimate. He's terrible or he's really good, and there's no in between.
I need like a 20-minute YouTube documentary about his fall from grace.
Yeah, there's
his one good season.
Where's the 30 for 30 on Kelechi and Nacho?
What if I told you this guy was really good for one season?
He was really good on Man City for like 6 games and then didn't play, and then went to Leicester and sucked, and then got really good.
Yeah.
And then he didn't play and he sucked.
What if I told you that?
What a strange career arc.
Yeah.
But no, Leicester's key to move up, I think, is Barnes. Because if you get kind of like a 3-pronged attack of guys you can trust, of Barnes, Vardy, Madison, that's massive. It's just Barnes' passing and distribution needs to just be average or like slightly below average. Unfortunately, I might as well be trying to pass the ball.
Yeah, he's got the Traore syndrome of it looks good, but 90% of the way, and then at the end it's just
he at least scores some goals.
Traore?
No, Harvey Barnes. He can score. No, Troy does not score or get assists. There's nothing out of that man.
Yeah, he is better in that aspect, but in terms of the assist category,
it's non-existent.
Yeah.
If you had to move one team up to B and one team down to C, who would it be?
Leicester, on the stipulation that Jamie Vardy is in the team.
Well, that's all we can assume.
That's all we can assume. So it'd be
they'd be the
and
B.
There were times that West Ham looked pretty crap.
Yeah,
because they had very little depth, and the guys that they did bring in didn't do anything. Like Vlasic.
Yeah, no, Vlasic, the pickle man, It was not helping.
It was.
Bit.
It all went a bit sour.
Oh no!
Oh,
I saw
puns.
they might offload him for like 10 mil. I don't know.
Okay.
You just buy him, and then you're like, oh, you're not as good as we thought. So yeah.
Well,
it's
West
like you need
West
depth.
Ham, you have to have players.
Yes.
Someone.
Don't fall for the Leeds trap of having a shallow squad, then you get wrecked.
What
and you
happens
finish
when
16th.
Antonio misses 30 games next season?
Oh gosh.
Who's going to run up there? Who's
They
gonna be the big guy
panic
up
buy
there?
Broja for 30 mil.
Yeah.
Whatever number Chelsea writes on the contract, they pay it.
Blank check.
The B tier teams, we have Arsenal.
Yes, Arsenal.
Potentially B plus. They're like an 86 out of 100. They're on the brink of B plus and B.
They have some great moments.
Yeah.
They have some times where they look a little inexperienced. They had times where they were really lacking that clinical finisher up front. I mean, they played a whole season basically without a striker.
Yes, Man City style.
Yeah.
Man City light.
Man City light.
So let's go through the names. Odegaard, great passer of the ball. Has moments where he makes nice runs and can score goals too, but definitely more of a facilitator.
Yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe, when he's on his game, very underrated player.
One of the best at running with the ball.
Yes. Can score and pass exceptionally well. Same with Mr. Saka,
Yep.
but he's a
Absolutely.
little more out wide, whereas Emil Smith-Rowe and Odegaard are central, so he gives you that edge that those guys don't. Same with Martinelli. Probably a little better at scoring than distributing the ball, but
Yeah.
probably one of their better dribblers of the ball.
And hopefully having Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, they might add him in the mix.
It would be big. I mean,
It-
going from a season where you have no number 9 to just someone.
Well,
He might not be the best finisher, but
he's
he's got to be better than no one.
Yeah, if you get him in kind of that Lacazette role, where he's kind of
And
a
he
little
can pass.
slightly more facilitating. Yeah, because that's when he was at his best at City last year. Was they put him a little more out wide rather than central, and
Yeah.
bada bing, bada boom. So, Arsenal could trend up potentially to B minus or A if things keep going the right way. Next, we have Chelsea. They're B, and for like the most,
Wingback FC.
yeah, they're definitely not what you would think in terms of attack.
They're,
You'd be like,
they're
oh, they're
unconventional.
they're like, no strikers. We play pretty much solely out wide.
Fullback style.
And if we have anything central, it's going through our one man, our 10, and Mason Mount. But still near the tops in attack and stuff. I don't know. Maybe the system is just not meant to have like a regular 9, somewhat like Arsenal and City.
Right, yeah. Maybe the death of the traditional number 9 is upon us.
Well, depending on how you play, because you can definitely play other ways. You don't have to play City and Arsenal
Yeah,
and
I'm
Chelsea.
saying more so at
Yeah.
the top level.
But
It's going to more of the passing game.
and Chelsea get their random games of where Ziyech looks good, where Pulisic will come on and do some stuff.
Especially the way that Chelsea play. It seems like there's so many guys in the attacking third that in turn pushes back the defense. So then there's less space for a number 9 to try and find space to get open and score.
Yeah. But if you just have a natural 9 who knows where to be and what to do. And
Chelsea's going to sign Kiefer Moore, aren't they?
that'd be great. Cardiff zone.
Stick him up top.
Um,
It's on Bournemouth now, but
I know, but he's still Cardiff zone.
Cardiff
City.
legend.
And last but not least, Man U sliding in at B. It doesn't even feel that great to have them in here.
No.
They feel
Maybe they
almost
should
like
be
West
in B
Ham.
minus.
I mean, the
If they
talent,
didn't have
the
Ronaldo, they'd
talent's
be
there.
in like D.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, they still do have a near the top of the league score in Ronaldo. New system with Ten Hag. We've seen Ajax, play amazing attacking football in the Champions League for the last like 4 or 5 years.
You got Bruno.
Yeah, you got Bruno in attack. You got Mr. Jadon Sancho, the redacted hanky winner. You don't really have Rashford. You don't have Greenwood.
You definitely don't have Greenwood. You might have Rashford, but you don't have Greenwood.
You don't really have the old Rashford.
No. Now you just have ramen noodle hair Rashford.
No. Copied Ronaldo's look.
Yeah.
That's why he wants to go to Bayern. He's like, who's this guy? Thinks he can steal my ramen noodle look.
Only one guy can have ramen noodle hair on this team.
Ronaldo was the ultimate Zoomer before Zoomers with that
Yeah.
shit-ass haircut.
He's a trailblazer.
I mean, obviously there's the potential for them to go up if the system is good enough and they have a right plan. I mean, there was really effectively no plan last year.
And it did divulge into playing Juan Mata for like the last 5 games of this season.
So it has to. I feel like this might be the lowest we'll ever see United in terms of an attack tier, but
Yeah.
there's a chance for them to go up. Chance for all the B teams to go to A, I would say, but I think the team that's least likely to jump would probably be Chelsea. But still, you never know.
I would say I feel like Chelsea and Arsenal are kind of level. You know, at times they have their struggles.
Yeah. So you like United the most out of those 3?
Well, United has the most potential,
Yes,
but on a base level they suck the most. So
this is true. A tier, Tottenham Hotspur. You got 2 of the 5 best attackers, just elite level players.
and there's an asterisk on this. It's second half Tottenham. Conte Tottenham.
Well, that's the Tottenham that there is now, so.
That first half Tottenham was like freaking Wolves.
Yeah, they might have been the second F tier team.
Unsurprisingly, they were coached by a former Wolves coach.
Yeah, no, Kane and Son, obviously. Kulishevsky, elite level when he came in.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can keep up that level of play. Guys like Lucas Moura are probably on their way out. Steve Bergwijn on their way out. So there's not going to be a ton of depth.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, since they're rumored for guys like Rafinha and Richarlison. It's kind of that Liverpool style where you just try and bring in some good attacking talent and see how it shakes out.
Yeah, you got
some guys
4
will play some games and others.
You really have 4 actual guys for 3 spots, and then like cups and stuff, you just rotate in some like youth guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason that they're A and not above that, they just don't create enough chances. They're super efficient. They're by far the most efficient team with the ball, which makes sense. You give them a chance, they'll score, but it's a matter of getting into the box and the scoring chances. But, that's, I guess, the issue.
Yeah, and for me, they rely so much on the counterattack.
Mm-hmm. They have to find a way to... And I feel like Kulishevsky could maybe be the key where it's linking the midfield to the front 2 a little more. Højbjerg at times can kind of, but not really. And Conte's system, it's wing-back heavy. So the wing-backs play a major role, too, in getting forward and getting the ball to Kane and Son and Kulishevsky. So
it just makes me concerned when a top team is so one-dimensional.
Yeah, but they do it well. Next, in the S-/A+ tier, we have Liverpool.
Yeah, it didn't feel right to put them on the same level as Tottenham. I just feel like they have a step ahead of Tottenham in terms of quality.
Okay.
Consistent quality. I mean, Mo Salah, one of the
they're
best.
honestly like the opposite of Tottenham in terms of they create a ton of chances and they just like don't take them all the time.
Yeah.
And then, so their efficiency is lower, but they create so many chances that it doesn't matter.
And I feel better with that because if you're Tottenham and the chances dry up, then that can get frightening.
Yeah, but it also gets frightening when you have all these chances and you can't score, and then you're just
Well, I mean,
there.
it's a game of numbers,
They're bound to go in eventually.
It's bound to go in.
That is true when you got guys like Joel Matip getting random goals out there.
Yeah.
But Liverpool, obviously, Mo Salah, best or second best player in the Premier League in general. No more Sadio Mane, but you do have Mr. Luis Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in Darwin Nunez, big time striker option.
It almost feels like Liverpool is kind of due for more of a flop. They seem like they've hit on all their attacking players in the recent times.
We'll see. Darwin Nunez, Like Sneaky didn't play a ton for Benfica over the last like couple years before this. He was kind of just like a rotational guy, and then he emerged on relatively recently. But in his short amount of time playing in the European competitions that I've seen, he's super efficient when he plays. But again, wasn't always playing for Benfica for whatever reason. Still Bobby Firmino there. Mr. Origi officially out, club legend. Out.
Yeah.
To AC Milan. It's still, they don't have much depth either. That's what them and Tottenham have in common.
Yeah, and now they're like, we are not buying any more players.
Unless you're a super duper star.
We've bought our like 2 youth players, and
Carvalho. We still have Harvey Elliott, bro.
We're not going to buy any players who could add to the team if they're not superstars. They don't want guys like Basuma who would still add to the quality of their team because they lack midfield depth. They're willing to play that game, to gamble again on midfield depth.
They're trying to call us out and say, we bet you won't put us outside the top 4 again in your predictions.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen. You're just talking about numbers. It's bound to happen if you don't sign reinforcements for depth. Your guys are going to get gassed.
Yeah, it seems like last season they really got
went
lucky
so
with
far
injuries.
in cup competitions and everything.
Yeah,
It's
especially
wild.
considering the year before how disastrous it was. I mean, they're not far off of that
Yeah.
in terms of injuries.
I mean, you had to have some voodoo witch doctor stuff going on to keep Thiago from getting hurt.
Yeah.
Like for half the season, that guy was always been hurt at Barca and Bayern and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on, final team, S tier, Man City has to be.
Has to be. They spent billions
De
of
Bruyne.
pounds. They bought this spot. They bought the S2
Pep
spot.
Guardiola is such a genius.
Genius.
Kevin De Bruyne, one of the best players in the Premier League, obviously. Jack Grealish, efficient with his limited touches, limited for £100 million player.
Efficient with his partying.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
They've got the best tap-in merchant in the league.
Yes, Raheem Sterling, which you can't overlook. I shouldn't have put him on the
Someone's
most
got to
overrated.
tap him in.
Yeah, exactly. It's better he's there. That's why maybe Chelsea should buy him. They just need a guy.
True. They need a tap-in merchant.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's all they need.
That solves Chelsea.
Meanwhile, Lukaku couldn't do that.
No.
He's like, I need the ball.
Yeah.
I want to leave.
He wants to be more than a tap-in merchant.
Yeah, what an idiot.
What an idiot.
Yeah, Chelsea really just needed.
I just want to point out this.
They need Sterling.
The
and,
reverse of Hank.
They need,
Sterling is the answer.
they need Sterling and Soldado.
Oh,
That's all Chelsea ever needed.
Isn't it funny? Sterling linked to Chelsea and Hank changes his
It's
tune.
crazy, dude. How that
I always rated him.
always rated him.
Big fan.
And then he'll just start diving, and I'm gonna be screaming.
I hate this guy.
Back to City. Still have Mahrez, who's sneaky high goal production last year, but he is on pens, so any pen they get virtually going to him. And they always have a guy in midfield that's going to create a lot of goals, whether it be Gundogan. Bernardo Silva doesn't create as many goals as I think people thought when he was coming there, including myself. But he still has such a huge impact on their attack.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you're talking wingback, Joao Cancelo.
Cancelo.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Not to mention they signed Holland.
Yeah. So they're pretty much OP. We didn't even talk about Alexander-Arnold really on Liverpool. Kind of grazed over him a bit.
You know,
Obviously, that's why they're S-A+ tier. Another great attacking wide player, him and Robertson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there it is. So City S tier, then Liverpool slightly below that, Tottenham A tier. B, we have Arsenal, Chelsea, United. B- C+ tier, West Ham, Leicester. C, Brentford, Leeds, Palace, Villa, Brighton, Newcastle. D, we have Everton, Southampton, Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham, and F, we have Wolves.
I feel
Could be
pretty
some
good
movement.
about it.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Feels great.
It always feels great.
Feels like a massive dub right here.
I
We
feel.
just
I always
dropped
feel
it
like
on
$1
the
million
world.
bucks when we drop just knowledge and perfection on podcasts.
You're welcome.
Yeah, go tell your friends how smart you are. You don't even have to credit us.
No.
You just say what we say,
Yep.
and they'll be like, "Wow, I didn't even think about that."
Genius. Revolutionary thoughts.
Yeah, this is
Wolves F-tier attack.
paradigm shifting. I genuinely think like if you asked like a pundit or something, they would be like, "Oh, Wolves aren't that bad." It'd be like, and you show them, it was just raw numbers. Be like, I'm not even gonna give you analytics.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna show you that they scored like 2 more goals than Norwich. I'm just gonna show you that and tell you your heads up your ass. All right. Anything else to add before we put a bow on this one? Any crazy transfer prediction for next episode? For Richarlison on Everton still?
I feel like he won't leave until later in the summer.
Yeah. I have a
There
weird
hasn't been
feeling
too
he's
much
not going to
buzz,
leave.
but- Yeah.
He loves the club.
He loves the club, right?
No, teams are going to
No one
wise up
wants
and
him.
they're going to be like, who the hell wants to pay for that guy?
Maybe at like 25 mil, but Everton's not going to take a loss on that.
Which they should. I think
They should sell him to the first bidder.
I think all Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham fans that don't want Richarlison should just come together and say, look, just send this guy to La Liga.
Yep.
No, none of us want to catch this grenade that is Richarlison and the like 50 million euro fee you're gonna have to pay for him. So,
Yeah.
well, next week we'll be doing the what do you want to do? Midfield or do you want to do defense / goalkeepers?
Let's do midfield.
All right, we're gonna do the midfield tiers next weekend. After that, we'll end up doing the defense / goalkeeping tiers. And after that, I think it's time for previews.
Time to start the season.
I think it's time for the previews.
Start her up, boys.
I mean, it's gonna be mid to late July by that time.
Yep.
We'll be ready.
Yep.
We'll be ready, and by that time, we'll have a fantastic, beautiful signing for Nottingham Forest.
A new contract for Lewis Graben.
You know what I didn't mention about last time? How I went back and listened to our old podcast from last year, the preview.
And you thought, how could they be so prophetic?
I thought, yeah.
Geniuses.
You know what I forgot? Newcastle didn't sign, even like at that point, they hadn't signed Joe Willock. They didn't sign anyone last year.
No.
And now they could sign anyone they want with the Saudi money. Funny how life works. Well, folks, on that note, on that uplifting note on how your life can change at any given moment if you're a Newcastle fan, we bid you adieu. Adios.
Tricky trees, timber.